Welcome back to Face the Nation. The Global Summit is underway right now in Glasgow, Scotland. It is the world's latest effort to tackle the fact that the planet is getting hotter. But expectations for substantive agreements to do something about it are pretty low. The UN Secretary General says there's serious risk that world leaders will not deliver, urging more ambition and further action. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Mark Phillips is there.
There is a cloud of gloom hanging over this conference in Glasgow, and it's not just the weather. To understand the pessimism, it helps to go back to those heady, optimistic days in France 6 years ago when the Paris Climate Accords were signed. The warming of the planet would be kept below 2 degrees Celsius, it was agreed. Preferably, it wouldn't exceed 1.5 degrees above pre-industrial levels. The problem with Paris, though, was that it was a conference about aspiration, not practicalities. How each country would reduce its own greenhouse gases was left to later. Well, later is now, and not nearly enough has been done.
It's all happening faster than you even feared.
It's all happening faster than we ever thought. In fact, it's happening faster than scientists thought.
Christiana Figueres was the UN official who knocked heads together and made the Paris Accords happen.
Well, anything above 1.5 is bigger trouble than we thought.
Well, absolutely. It's much bigger trouble. It causes 2 to 3 times as much biodiversity loss, 2 to 3 times as much infrastructure loss, and 2 or 3 times as much human misery.
The misery has been all around us lately. Floods in Europe, sweltering heat domes in North America. The world has changed since Paris, particularly in the relationship between its 2 biggest polluters, the United States and China.
Contrasting to where we were in the relationship between the United States and China in 2015, the 2 of them walked in literally hand in hand because over the previous years they had realized that they were better off collaborating on climate change than confronting each other. That has not been the case this year for all the reasons that we know.
Not only will Chinese President Xi Jinping not be coming, neither will Russia's Vladimir Putin. If there's any cause for hope in Glasgow, it's that companies, if not governments, have begun to see the value in going green. Mark Carney, who headed the central banks of 2 G7 countries, has been twisting arms.
You know, at present, there are leaders and laggards in the financial sector, leaders and laggards amongst companies. People will be able to tell who's leading and who's behind, who's on the right and the wrong side of climate history.
They've set up this conference to show how the future of the planet is at stake. But what are its chances of success? British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has likened it to a game where humanity is losing to climate change 5-1 at halftime. And Margaret, there seems little chance of a second-half comeback.